It's 8 p.m. Welcome to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kai. Look, tonight I'm here with
Nathan Kwao.
Coming up, Asin Central Member of Parliament Kennedy Japan reports Anas Arimeya Anas to the General Legal Counsel as his running dispute with the journalist continues.
The Electoral Commission accountants named in the report of the Chief Justice's Committee petitions Attorney General over his work status.
Also coming up, we'll find out why one of Ghana's most important sources of drinking water, the Densu River, is in danger.
The Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service presents reports on MPs involved in double salaries incident to Attorney General.
And we'll bring you updates from an incredible day of quarter-final matches at the World Cup as France qualify for the semi-final. Details now. Now, the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Japan, has filed a complaint against investigative journalist Anas Arimeya Anas at the General Legal Counsel. Now, Mr. Japan accuses Anas of professional misconduct over allegations that the investigative journalist, who is also a lawyer, was seen in a video conniving with a retired state attorney to dismiss a case.
Mr. Japan, in his petition to the body that regulates all lawyers in the country, wants an investigation conducted into the matter. Here's a Citi Newsroom report.
All began after the premiering of number 12. An expose by Anas Arimeya Anas, where president of the Ghana Football Association, Kwesi Nyantakyi, was caught on tape taking $65,000 from the Tiger IPI team who posed as investors for the Ghanaian Football League. Several other GFA officials were also implicated. The video also revealed possible influence peddling, as Mr. Nyantakyi claimed he could provide access to the president. President Akufo-Addo subsequently filed a complaint against Mr. Nyantakyi with the police. The expose and its methodology was criticized by the Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan, who vowed to prove Anas himself was corrupt. This led to the public airing of his own video titled "Who Watches the Watchman?"
Let's stay with such related stories. And the former communications director of the Ghana Football Association, Ibrahim Sani Dara, has sued Anas Arimeya Anas for allegedly defaming him in his number 12 documentary, which captured alleged corruption in Ghana football. In his writ, Sani Dara is asking the court to order Anas to pay him an amount of 20 million Ghana cedis for damages the said video has caused him. Speaking to Citi Newsroom, lawyer for Mr. Dara, Dr. Dominic Aine said the suit asked for a perpetual injunction against Anas Arimeya Anas and Tiger PI. The story of several members of parliament who have been accused of receiving a double salary during the tenure of former President John Mahama has taken a new turn. Citi Newsroom understands that the Criminal Investigations Department of the Police Service has submitted a report on 9 of the MPs to the Attorney General with the potential for prosecution. 25 of the MPs were initially asked to report to the police, but 18 of them were later asked to disregard that invitation. The MPs include Tamale Central MP Inusa Fuseni, MP for Ketu South Fifi Kwete, and MP for Wa Central Rashid Popo. So let's take a short break now. You're still watching the Citi Newsroom. When we come back, we have more for you.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on Citi TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on Citi TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
Live music, interviews, poetry, and more with your favorite personalities. Be our guest on Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for the most exciting moments on TV. Join Kojo Akoto Boateng for real entertainment right in your living room. Saturday Live on Citi TV and Citi 97.3 FM.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on Citi TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complex. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on Citi TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
Welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Vivian Kailoko. Now, the story of several members of parliament who have been accused of receiving double salary during the tenure of former President John Mahama has taken a new turn. Now, Citi Newsroom understands that the Criminal Investigations Department of the Police Service has submitted a report on 9 of the MPs to the Attorney General with the potential for prosecution. Now, 25 of the MPs were initially asked to report to the police, but 18 of them were later asked to disregard that invitation. Now, the MPs include Tamale Central, Unusa Fuseni, MP for Ketu South, Fifi Kwete, and MP for Wa Central, Rashid Popo. So I've been joined in the studio by Anas Seidu. He's been following this story from day one to give us more details about this developing story. Anas Seidu, welcome to the Citi Newsroom.
Thank you very much.
First of all, give us a background to this story. How did we get here?
All right, Vivian, on April 10th, this story broke. News was all over the place that some MPs were invited by the Criminal Investigations Department of the Police Service for allegedly receiving double salaries when they were ministers or deputy ministers and also MPs. A day after, the police released an official statement signed by Director of Public Relations, Sheila Abeye Bachman, indicating that they are actually investigating these people for alleged double salary receipt. They also indicated that their investigation was not to determine the salaries of MP, but they were conducting their official mandate of ensuring that no public officer goes beyond the rules of the country. After that, some of the MPs who were called actually went to the CID. The department that was in charge of investigating this particular matter was the Financial Forensic Unit of the CID. They invited them. I covered some of these MPs. Right. You mentioned some of them. Tiwia Kwanza was there. Comfort Doyo, she was also there. Yeah. There were several of them. Some of them, after their initial investigations with the CID, when they came out, they spoke to the media and they denied the allegations. One of such MPs was the Wa Central MP, Honorable Rashid Pelpo. Let's listen to what he said when he met the CID, then we can continue the conversation.
Well, you continue. We'll look for that tape.
All right. So once we still move on with that, one thing we've also gathered is when that particular incident happened, later the CID ensured that there was a report that the CID had bank statements of the various MPs who were involved in this thing. Fast forward to today, what happened? Our checks confirmed that these particular MPs and former ministers or deputy ministers under investigation, the investigation have been completed. The CID has forwarded the investigation to the AG's department. They are working on it and they will advise the president, the government on what to do next. But our sources will then also inform us that there is no way this thing will go without prosecution. Why? Because the demands or the findings in the investigations are very revealing, because they have facts within and they are assured that these people will be prosecuted.
Do you have an idea what some of these findings are from what we're picking up from our sources?
After they looked into their account, one thing I can say was clear was that most of them, their account indicates that they actually picked double salaries. Some of the MPs labeled it as top-up. Some of them labeled it as top-up. One thing that I also know from my interactions with people within the service indicate that this particular investigation also revealed that they presented double account to pick the double salaries as both MPs and deputy ministers. But quick one, Vivian, when the investigation was ongoing, the MPs and former ministers and deputy ministers revealed that no, it wasn't double salary. Why? Because when they started as MPs, their salaries were not determined. Their salaries were determined after the 2016 elections.
Right.
So they were receiving money. There was no way they would have known that that was double payment. That was the argument. But the Special Prosecutor Martin Amidu came out and he made mention of something. He said he was paid double,
yes,
but he returned
it. Yes.
And that argument also revealed that some of them were aware that it was double salary that they paid. Okay. But for now, it's still an allegation. The AG has the details, and very soon, if they'll be prosecuted, we will say.
Okay, so hang on there. You earlier spoke to Rashid Pelpo when this thing broke, especially when he was at the CID headquarters. Let's have a listen to what he said.
I've been given an invitation to come here and over issues about double salary. I have denied all charges of double salary. I have been a member of parliament and was also a minister, and as a member of parliament, I was paid a salary, and as a minister, I was given some amount of top-up, and I don't interpret it to be double salary. And so I think that's essentially the system will correct itself, and we will get to know how it all goes. I won't answer any questions.
Were you aware of the top-up? Yes. Were you aware of the top-up?
I don't want to answer any more questions.
Because that's what we want to know. Because that's the confusion in the media. We need clarity that was it double salary or a top-up. So were you aware of the top-up, Honorable?
I told you I have received an amount of money from Parliament and was told that I will be giving some top-ups by the executive. That top-up was paid, and that's payments from Parliament was also made. And it's been the case all along. I mean, if you are a member of parliament and you are elevated to a minister, they pay you from parliament and they also pay you from the executive. So that is what I know. It's not anything new.
But Honorable, we know that you need to forfeit one, either parliament, through parliament or through the president.
I'm saying that it's a top-up. Topping up what you are supposed to get to make up for your full earning as a minister.
Not a full salary.
And so salary issue hasn't come here. Salaries will occur when the emoluments committee has come out with this work, and then a proper definition is given about what your salary. No member of parliament knows your salary. No member of the ministry, no member of the executive or of Article 71 office holder knows how much you are earning until the emoluments committee determines. Yeah, if there has been a fault with the system, let's address the fault with the system and correct it. I don't think that it is the person who should be held for any inadequacy of the system.
So what Rashid Pelpo just said was something the others also said, but it appears a back and forth over top-up and not being etc.
That was it. Basically, they defended themselves after their engagement with the CID. But like I told you earlier, the investigations that have been done so far revealed certain things. And hopefully, these defense that was thrown out there by these embattled MPs may be seen in court, because in the not too far future, we are going to see them in court. That's hopefully, because that's what I'm gathering, that they will be in court against the state prosecutor.
Okay, so let's look at some of the people that may come to court, the big names involved in this case. Who are some of them, apart from Rashid Pelpo and others we mentioned earlier?
Talking about those who will be appearing in court, my sources told me that there are 9 people who are due to appear in court, but the names were, however, withheld. But talking about the people who were actually investigated, there are other big names who were actually investigated, like the majority leader Haruna Idris, who was investigated, the second deputy speaker of parliament, Honorable Alban Bagui, and a host of others, ABA Husseini and co. They were investigated. Muntaka Mubarak himself was part of the investigation. So any of the 25 people who were invited are liable to appear before court.
All right. Thank you very much, Anna Seidu, for bringing us up to speed to that. Let's move on to some other stories. And the suspended chief accountant at the Electoral Commission, Kweku Eje Labi, has petitioned the Attorney General for recall to the Commission. Now, this is to enable him refund money to the Commission as recommended by the Chief Justice's Committee, which investigated the petition to remove the Electoral Commissioner. Now, according to him, the amount of 350,000 cedis was kept in a safe on behalf of the Commission in its office. So we'll stay with that story, and I've been joined in the studio by Fred Jabado, who has been following this case also from day one. Fred, welcome to the Citi Newsroom.
Thank you, Vivian.
For those of us who don't understand this story, give us a background to it.
So, Vivian, this case actually began somewhere last year in April, when the IOCO started investigations into some 480,000 cedis missing from the endowment fund of the EC. This endowment fund was for workers who work within the EC. In the course of these investigations, the chief accountant and one of the removed deputy chairs, Georgina Opoku-Amankwa, including one finance officer, were asked to step aside for investigations to go on. Whilst investigations were going on, there was a petition written to the president for the removal of the EC chair and her 2 deputies. A committee was set up, and the committee was chaired by Justice A.A. Benin. And in the course of the hearing of the committee, there are certain revelations which came out from witnesses who testified before the committee. One of the things which came up was that monies which were expected or were supposed to be paid into the account of the EC were actually given to individuals and paid into accounts of individuals within the EC. One such is the 350,000 cedis which was given to the chief accountant. It came out that per the recommendations of the committee, after the committee finished its work and the EC and the deputy chairs were recommended to be removed, it came out that the committee also recommended that the chief accountant refunds the amount, that money, the 350,000 cedis. Failure to refund that is that he faces prosecution for stealing. So this is what happened, and that's how come today he sent a petition to the AG asking to be reinstated. According to him, yes, indeed, the money was given to him. He has more than that amount of money. He mentioned that he had somewhere about 730,000 cedis also with him. But these monies were placed in a safe in his office.
Right. And so these monies were given to him by who? And was he given particular rules on what to use the money for, or just to keep the money in that safe?
We are not sure what exactly this 350,000 cedis was given to him for. But during the testimony at the committee stage, we are told that the political parties were given money for their primaries. So it could be that some of these monies which were given to them for primaries was part of the 350,000 which he held now. So yes, he admitted before the committee that indeed he had 350,000 cedis given to him, but he hadn't spent the money. The money was in safekeeping for the commission in his office at the commission.
Now, he said today through his lawyer that he wants to be reinstated and given back, to give back the money. And if he's been sacked and the money's in the safe, why is he asking for a reinstatement for that? He's
not been sacked as we speak. He was only suspended because of the investigations by Iyoko. And in his argument, he's saying that it's been over a year. Iyoko has finished their investigations. He's clean, according to him. But now he needs to be given access to his office. He needs to be recalled so he can get access to his office, take the 350,000 cedis, including the other monies he has in his possession, from his safe in his office, so he could give it back to the EC.
Okay, so we'll find out from his lawyer whether the investigation cleared him of anything to be recalled or not in a bit. So we'll be joined now by the lawyer of the former, or he's still the chief accountant at the Electoral Commission, Kweku Eje Elabi. His lawyer is Jerry Asiedu. Jerry, welcome to the Citi Newsroom.
Thank you.
Now, if you have money in the safe and you're supposed to refund that money, you have been suspended, this money is in the safe, why do you need to be reinstated before you can give us back that cash?
That is interesting. The fact is that we've not been suspended. The letter that was written to us on the 5th of July 2017 asked my client to proceed on leave whilst investigations into the endowment fund continue by Iyoko. So he is actually just on leave, being paid full salary, just on leave, waiting for the conclusion of Iyoko's investigations. But whilst at the commission in 2016, an amount of money was brought in for safekeeping, which he was keeping at his office until he was asked to proceed on leave.
Is that the usual thing there? He's given money at any time to keep for safekeeping? Is that the usual?
Actually, the 350,000 is not the first time cash is being brought in for my client to keep. He's the chief accountant of the Electoral Commission. He has a safe in his office. Prior to that, an amount of almost 5 million Ghana cedis cash was brought into his office for the purposes of primaries conducted by the Electoral Commission for the NDC. He disbursed the amount based on the directive of the Director of Finance at the time. And it was even left with an amount of 72,000 Ghana cedis, which he is still keeping. Then a second tranche of money was brought in, maybe because the first amount was not enough to carry out the exercise, which is 350,000, and was kept in the safe, waiting for the instructions of the Assistant Director of Electoral Services, who brought in the money. For him, he's just keeping it. Maybe you want to use it to conduct primaries or something, or for the consumables of the EC that was used. So basically, he was keeping that money, awaiting whatever instructions will be given. Then Iyoko wrote to the chair that because there is an investigation on the endowment fund of the commission, he should be asked to proceed on leave. The report of Iyoko into the endowment fund came out and exonerated my client. In actual fact, the endowment fund being investigated happened in 2014. My client took office as chief accountant of the Electoral Commission in 2016. In the report of Iyoko, they indicted the predecessor of my client, who is the chief accountant before my client, that he should be the one investigated. In actual fact, Iyoko recommended that he be prosecuted. And my client was never seen as a suspect in the matter. And even Iyoko's report never stated that he was a suspect for further investigations. So based on that, we wrote to Iyoko and said that if your conclusion is that we are not suspects in this matter, then the directive that we should proceed on leave is spent. So we should be recalled to resume our lawful duties. Nothing came from Iyoko.
Iyoko didn't give you a response on that?
No. So when the investigation into the commissioners came out, my client was subpoenaed to appear before the commission to testify as to monies that other persons have claimed that they've brought into his office. We went before the committee. We told them that yes, we're holding these amounts for the persons who brought them in, the officers who brought them in, until we were asked to proceed on leave. We were even ready to produce the money to the committee if only we'll be allowed access to our office. Especially when the letter that directed us to proceed on leave also forbids us from entering the commission, and having anything to do with the commission until we are recalled from the leave. So when the recommendation of the committee at the end of its work says that we should make available to the commission the 350,000 that we are admitted that we are holding for further instructions, then we said, okay, that is fair. We are just holding it for further instructions. We can pay it into the account of the EC. But the fact is that the money is being kept in our office. There is another letter which directs us not to come into the premises. There is no way we can be able to have access to the funds to pay into the account of the commission.
But you don't need to return to work fully or cancel the issue about proceed on leave to get that money from the safe. You can just request that you are escorted to the safe, take the money, and then deal with the issue of proceeding on leave later, rather than telling us that you have to be or allowed to get back to work before you take the money from the safe.
This is more like trying to use one stone to kill two birds. One, the same AG who is supposed to act on the recommendation of the committee, because, mind you, when the Minister of Information presented the press release, he said that the president intended to implement the recommendations of the committee. And naturally, he has started with the commissioners. And there was a caveat given that if we are not able to give the 360,000 back to the commission, we should be prosecuted for stealing. And this is a recommendation to the AG.
Over a period of, were you given a period?
There was no period. So we were making the case to the AG that, look, the same Yoko has written to you that we are not suspect in the earlier case. We are only on leave because Yoko asked us to be on leave. We would have made that funds available to you if we are recalled to resume our lawful duties. My client is even more concerned that he's been paid and he's at home waiting for the resolution or the conclusion of an investigation. The investigation has been concluded in January. We've tried always to get back to work, no response. So we are telling the Attorney General, who is supposed to act on the same letter, that there is a report before you that exonerates us, yet we are still on leave. The second recommendation comes before you again, the same Attorney General, that we should be prosecuted if we are not able to give you the 350,000. Maybe you could just work on the two issues at the same time by lifting the
state needs the cash back. Just get the cash out of the safe, and let's talk about the issue about proceeding on leave. It appears you're using the cash to hold everybody ransom, so that you when you get the cash and then your client sneaks back into office.
No. There is nothing about sneaking back into office. This is justice that I want for my client. One, it is not right that you are paid for your lawful duties and yet you are left to be on leave and not perform your duties to the state. He's an accountant.
If you've proceeded on leave, you should be paid.
Yes. And we are being paid.
Yes. So the issue about saying that your client doesn't want to be being paid and not working is out of the question, because your client hasn't been sacked. He's on leave and he has to be paid while on leave.
Yes.
So that is not the issue. The issue is about the money and giving the money back. You do not need to come back to work before you can get the money. You can ask to be escorted to the place to take the money. Not so?
Yes, the same person who is supposed to act on whether we should resume work from the protracted leave that we are on, and the same person who is supposed to ensure that we retrieve the money and give it back to the commission is the AG. So we are asking the AG to act in this capacity to lift whatever it is. We are not trying to beat the commission with us returning to work. We are only drawing the attention of the Attorney General to it. And we have all even stated in our petition that, look, we would have returned this money to you long time or paid it into the account if not that we were on leave. But the general question is, do you let somebody be on leave for 1 year without any investigation ongoing, and he's just at home and being paid, whilst he's being paid with taxpayers' money to go back and work? So we are putting all that before the Attorney General. We said that it is not right.
Okay.
that we are still at home. We do not know what is going on with our other case. Yet we've been asked now to come to the commission and make the funds available to you. We are making the funds and paying that into the commission's account is part of our duties as the chief accountant. Okay. We can do that once we resume work. That is all.
Okay, finally, what next for your client with all what is happening and not receiving the response you're expecting from the AG?
We are given at least a maximum of 7 days to hear from the AG. We have written to Yoko also in the matter, asking them to review their request that they sent to the EC, asking us to proceed on leave pending investigations. If that is not done, I think there are other legally available remedies to my client to ensure that his justice is attained at the end of the day.
Thank you very much, Jerry John Asedu, his lawyer for the chief accountant at the Electoral Commission, Kweku Eje Labi. Now, when we come back, authorities at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology remain unmoved over decision to convert Katanga Hall into a mixed residence. Don't go away.
Wherever the weekend sporting action happens, we will bring it to you here on Scorecard. Every goal, every dunk, every punch, the winning strides, and the winning volleys.
International media, he said, look, wait, sit and wait. Let me have a meal with my people. And I think that's the same cool, it's the same organization he brings to the field every time I've seen him play. He looks to me like somebody who has played over 50 caps already. Okay. But this guy has barely played over 25 caps for the national team.
All of the weekend's action in one place. Scorecard. Every Sunday at 8 p.m. prompt on Citi TV.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on Citi TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on Citi TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
Welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Nathan Carr. Let's get to some other stories. And there is concern over the Densu River, a water body that is the source of drinking water for almost 2 million people in the country. A visit to the river at Insawamaduaji in the eastern region reveals a change in color and quality in the water, raising fears that decades of environmental degradation is taking a toll. Citi Newsroom's Kojo Ajiman finds out what is behind this latest development.
The state of the Densu River catches your attention when you drive over it in Insawam. What is the major cause of the river's current state? Conversations with some residents reveal improper waste disposal and management is to blame. Residents of Wofapaye who confirm this dump their refuse here on a daily basis. On a day it is not collected on time. Eunice Opare, a resident here, tells me it ends up in the Densu River.
Bola ne de started go there at least me min chat rock 3 years ni. Go for Junso go ho. Omuko toilets go at the same time you to go so na ahohore gu gata nim. Na asane ko Densu ye nyina Densu so yenim se eno ana ye nom eno ana ye sedware ye de bibia. Nti to me ne de hygienic.
It seems authorities here have failed to properly manage the many heaps of refuse in this municipality. Refuse pile and spill into the Densu River. This is Densu. It is a source of drinking water for many communities in the Greater Accra region and the Eastern region. But the reality is that communities along this river do not have anywhere to dump their refuse, and it ends up in this river. The Densu has now become a collection point for waste. An assembly member of the Nsawam Adraju municipality, Suleiman, is one of the culprits. His dump site is on the banks of the Densu River. He is cashing in from garbage carters. He takes between 10 to 20 cedis per a tricycle.
I want to talk about market ceremony. I want to talk about pumping.
The Densu River serves over 11 local government assemblies in the Central, Eastern and the Greater Accra regions. After a successful treatment of the raw water from the Densu River, over 5 million people in these regions access potable water. But for the over 600,000 residents in communities along the river who do not benefit, drink the untreated water from the Densu River. This puts their lives at risk.
Now, the health of residents of Uto, a suburb of Tema in the Greater Accra region, is threatened by poor management of human waste in the area.
The lack of access of proper toilet facilities is a major concern to the residents of the area, while waste management companies also dump fecal matter into a drain located near the center of the town. There's more in the Citi Newsroom report.
For residents of To, this is normal. Tankers come here every day to discharge fecal matter. The tanker you just saw is the second I have seen in less than 30 minutes attempting to discharge but drove off at the sight of my camera. Usually, a successful dump is spilled into the Chemu Lagoon, a practice residents say has been going on for the past 20 years. Joshua Mante is a leader of the proud Ga Adangbe Youth Association. He says the community leaders have tried to no avail to halt the practice.
The Chemu Lagoon is dead because it has been polluted with oil. Then there's this man, the toilet you see behind me, and he has created a chamber like this one and then this one. And then you go around town bringing collecting toilets from other places, and then you come and dump it into this manhole over here. Then you open it through a channel that connects into this, and it will go into the chamber.
Apart from the oil spillage from the industries here, this is another major pollutant to the Chemu Lagoon. The fecal matter collection point, gushing out of this pipe straight into the Chemu Lagoon. A major health and environmental concerns to the people of Mahia in Tema. Though the closure of the Lavender Hill in Accra is a success story, places like this in Tema still raise alarm bells. The Chemu Lagoon used to be one of Ghana's heritage sites, but the dumping of liquid waste has destroyed its beauty. Today, the lagoon looks clogged and the stench is unbearable. November 19 is a World Toilet Day, a day set aside by the UN to encourage behavioral change and the implementation of policies to increase access to sanitation among the poor. However, Ghana is yet to realize this goal. Over 5 million people practice open defecation in Accra alone, and the city is struggling with the management of fecal matter. At To, both the young and the old practice open defecation. Besides avoiding paying a 50 peso fee for public toilets, what else could be pushing this community to openly defecate. Even the frailties of old age will not stop Mame Abokuma from defecating openly. Abigail, a 19-year-old mother, worries about the effect of open defecation on the health of her family. With the 28,000 cholera cases recorded in 2017 in the Greater Accra region, Toh alone recorded over 500 of these cases with 26 deaths. This calls for urgent attention to avert another cholera outbreak.
Now, the inadequate supply of water to several health facilities in the country has been identified as a major cause of unsanitary conditions at these facilities. Now, a report by the Navrongo Health Research Center highlights this difficulty as reported by Citi Newsroom's and Shirley Zhu.
In 2017, Ghana was named among the top 10 countries worldwide with majority of its population without decent toilets. As the population grows, the situation becomes worse, and it is estimated children are 4 times more likely to die before the age of 5 due to insanitary conditions at some health facilities. A visit to some health facilities in the capital revealed the situation is far from improving. The situation is no different in the Upper East region. Director of Health Services, Dr. Wilfred Ofusu, in an interview with Citi Newsroom said, the situation hampers the quality of healthcare in the region.
The healthcare providers are actually pushed to the wall to provide quality health service because the facilities are not there. If a patient comes, for example, you want to conduct laboratory tests, and maybe you need to provide some urine or stool. I mean, where is it going to get to go and provide this if the wash toilet facilities are not there? So really, it has compromised to a large extent the provision of quality services in some cases to our clients.
Bacterial infection have been identified as the major cause of newborn death due to sanitation issues in hospitals. Abdul Nashiu Mohammed is the country director of Water Aid and throws more light on the statistics.
We presently have a situation where so many healthcare facilities in the Upper East region lack functioning water, sanitation and hygiene facilities. And that is affecting maternal health, child health, and in fact leading to some deaths in some situations. We have situations where annually over 19,000 people die from health-related diseases, water-related diseases, and out of that, over 5,000 or 5,100 is said to be made up of children.
Ghana recently launched a campaign aimed at addressing the poor sanitation situation, but Water Aid fears that without adequate funds and wash models, the plans outlined to fight the sanitation menace may not be fully achieved. They are therefore calling on the government to invest more and spend it transparently and effectively.
We didn't do effective planning in terms of ensuring that planning and budgeting for healthcare facilities are integrated. There is a health director responsible for a particular facility or a particular area. First is to make sure that anytime there's going to be the construction of a new healthcare facility, that they insist that there is water, sanitation and hygiene. 2, for those that currently exist without those services, that they need to do a thorough assessment to establish what it will take to fix those things. And then they can go into very simple partnerships with the assembly, with NGOs, to get those fixed. That's very, very critical. Otherwise, we'll continue to have what we call health center associated illnesses. So you go there as a client and you go home with this.
Reporting for Citi News, and Shelley Ziwu.
And drivers and passengers in the Sunyani municipality are worried about the state of the only taxi rank in the city. The taxi rank, they say, needs urgent attention and are therefore calling on the authorities to give it a facelift. Now, Citi Newsroom's Michael Sapon Infum visits the station and has the rest of the story from the Bono-Hafo region.
The Sunyani taxi rank on daily basis hosts over 300 vehicles. The station, since its construction over decades ago, has not seen any major upgrade. The drivers who work say the rainy season is a nightmare for them, as most passengers do not patronize the station because of its muddy nature.
When you enter the station, GPRTU charge you 70 pesos, and municipal assembly also charge 1 cedi for the day. But whenever it rains and you come to the station, in fact, you are not able to park at any because all the place is dirty. Water and the mud. Even when you wash your car and you come to the station, before you leave, you have to go to the washing bay to wash the car again.
If I know rates about the poorest one in the whole region or even the whole Ghana, I would say it will be the number one, the leading one. I'm saying this because as you can see the station here, whenever it rains, we have a gutter. Whenever it rains, you see that the rain is very choked here. You cannot even use your car to pass here. When you go to washing bay and you use your car to pass the station, you could see that the station has passed through a debt. You can even the passengers even complain.
These passengers who use the station on daily basis also express frustration about the state of the main Sunyani taxi.
We have a lot of water here. Sometimes the water, when the car just passing by inside the water, some of the water gets into our dress and it's very hard. So we are pleading for the government to come and help the station.
The state of the station is not good at all. Looking at the station, when you come here, in fact, you have to be hopping and all that before you get the right place to stand. As a passenger, even this evening when I came here, some of the soil even soiled my trailer.
If you look around the station, it's too bad. So we appeal to the authorities to help us so that they can do something about this. It has been here for a long while, so they have to come and help us.
Local chairman of the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Richard Amankwa, says efforts to reach the Sunyani Municipal Assembly to ensure that a contract signed under the previous NEC administration for the construction of the station is implemented have not yielded any results.
The Lorry Park, it doesn't befit the status of the region, more especially being the regional capital. But we are the tenant and the assembly is the landlord. So whenever there's a problem at the station, we must to consult them so that they will give us the green light to go along with any work that we want to do over here. And we've been there for about 4 or 5 times, yet he has not given us the green light. So as it started raining, you can see it yourself. We, GPRTU, we don't want this state of the station because we are working here. And whenever there's a problem here, we would rather be blamed first before any other person.
From the Bono-Hafo region, let's get to Koforidua and the Eastern region. That's where delegates of the New Patriotic Party will be meeting this weekend for their annual delegates conference. The conference will see the party elect executives to steer its affairs for the next 4 years. Duke Mensah Opoku sends us this report from the events ground.
So this is the school field of the Koforidua Technical University. Now, this venue is the cynosure of all eyes for the next 2 days when it comes to political organization in this country. The governing New Patriotic Party is holding its 26th National Annual Delegates Conference here at this venue and is suspected to host over 3,000 delegates drawn from across the country coming in here to assess the strength of their party and also vote for executives who would steer the affairs of this party for the next 4 years. The conference begins properly in full swing tomorrow. The organizers are actually putting finishing touches to the venue. As you can see in that background, the flag of the New Patriotic Party with the elephant is being fixed on the main stage where all the action will be happening. Of course, vendors are also cashing in big time as a whole section of the there's a whole section of the Koforidua Technical University that has been dedicated to the selling of party paraphernalia, the selling of food and other items that will be critical to the thousands of people who would be coming in here. For Citi News from the Koforidua Technical University, this is Duke Menso Boku.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom live on Citi TV. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break.
Tune in to The Point of View, Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 p.m. as Bernard Avlet takes the news further. He will bring the right guest, ask them the relevant questions, and get you the real insights you need on the big stories for the day.
What one action have you taken? What one statement have you issued?
Well, we've been issuing statements, even this...
on the specific issue of...
This very one.
Of no bed syndrome. Since you are saying that you've heard this before.
Well, we keep talking.
The Point of View with Bernard Avlet, Monday and Wednesday nights, only on Citi TV.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on Citi TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complex. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Sela Madonu on Citi TV. This and every Saturday at 9 a.m.
Hi, welcome back to the Citi Newsroom. My name is Nathan Carr. Let's do some entertainment-related stories. And Ghanaian actor Mark Jordan Amati has passed away. He died at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital earlier today, and there's more in this report.
Mark Jordan Amati, popularly known for his role in the Idikoko TV series, died at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital yesterday evening. The veteran actor, who was battling with diabetes, died after his health condition worsened. Last year, he disclosed that he used a prosthetic leg after he was amputated due to his diabetic condition. Mark Jordan was very popular in a lot of Ghanaian movies. One of his last roles was in The Mask, which was released about 5 years ago. The legendary actor is also known for picking fights with actress Grace Naughty in almost all the movies the two starred in. He was 82.
Coats, come here. What is that young man to you?
Just a friend.
Are you sure?
Just a friend. Nothing beyond that, uncle.
Just that?
Yes, Uncle.
Just that?
Yes, Uncle.
Yo.
Now, management of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology has explained that the institution's increasing female population has necessitated the conversion of the male-only university hall, also known as Kantanga Hall, into a mixed one.
His comments follow agitation by executives and residents of Katanga Hall to oppose the move. Kwame Yeboah is public relations officer of the university, and he tells Citi News a number of female students have been assigned to the hall regardless.
As an institution, the female population is increasing. As we speak now, we have about 36% of our students are female, and we need more places for them. And our halls of residence, previously, virtually all of them were male. But gradually, with the increase in female population, about 2 of them were made mixed. And with the increase, the management feels it is important we convert the last 2 male halls to accommodate some of the females. 3 male halls were made mixed, and the tradition wasn't destroyed.
Ethan, so the quarterfinals for the World Cup happened today. But before we go the scores and all that happened, really sad story of Jordan Amati.
Very, very sad.
You know how I remember him? The movies with Grace Notte.
Yeah, the tough husband.
Always fighting with her.
My biggest memory of him will be the Starkist advert. You know, where he was a housemaster, he sneaks in and tells them, I've seized it. I love that advert so much. But sad stuff
yes,
there.
So
may he rest in peace.
May he rest in peace. So you have updates of the World Cup.
Yes.
What Brazil and Belgium, what was
Brazil are out. Brazil lost 2-1 to Belgium. Belgium scored twice in the first half. Brazil could only get 1 back. So the Brazilians are out. They are packing and they are going back to Rio de Janeiro. But Belgium will take on France. France won their game in the afternoon. They beat Uruguay by 2-0. Tomorrow there's a game between Croatia and Russia, and then England will be playing Sweden in the evening. All happening in the World Cup quarterfinals.
This World Cup has been interesting. Teams that you expect them to do well did not do well, and ones that you thought wouldn't do well. What happened? What was happening all over the place?
It's just teams are better prepared now. They are getting into this competition very ready to go out and make a statement. The Japanese were a great surprise. I thought the African teams didn't do too well. Belgium, like we've seen, even though they have great players, they were not expected to do too well, but here they are, semi-finals. They are in the England are in the quarterfinals, and everybody talks about England, and you're expecting them to fail. No, they are still in there, and they have a chance against Sweden. I think the biggest surprise has been Russia.
Yes.
Nobody thought they would get this far, but look at them enjoying themselves, having fun, and they are in the World Cup last 8. You can't ask for anything better. And they take on Croatia. What have they got to lose? They could go on another crazy game, win, and then you see what will happen in Russia. The experts do think that Croatia have a better team. It is true, but anything could happen because this is football and this is the World Cup.
Well, we have to end it here. Let's bring you a recap of some of our top stories this evening. Asin Central Member of Parliament Kennedy Japan reports Anas Arimeye Anas to the General Legal Counsel as his running dispute with the journalist continues. Also, the Electoral Commission accountant named in the report of the Chief Justice Committee petitions the Attorney General over his work status.
We also found out why one of Ghana's most important sources of drinking water, the Densu River, is in danger. And we looked at the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service as they presented a report on MPs involved in the double salary saga to the Office of the Attorney General.
Do log on to our website, citinewsroom.com, to get more stories. Politics, general news, health, business, sports, education, what have you. My name is Vivian Kailoko. This evening, I was here with
Nathan Kwao.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening and a lovely weekend.
Wherever the weekend sporting action happened, we will bring it to you here on Scorecard.